the most common things I hear from successors in multi-generational businesses is there's pretty much the same thing. Is, you know what? I tried to step up. I tried to make a decision. I tried to implement something. I tried to change something, and I got my head chopped off. So now I just do my job. And here's the question. It's not what happened. It's usually what did you do after it? Because it's how we respond or react to that situation that actually really determines our future within the organization, within the family business. Because it could be something that can really shut us down, or something that could forge us forward. And today I just want to talk about the reasons why this happens, and possibly some things forward to maybe help you reframe to have a different approach the next time. Most successes don't stay small by choice. They stay small by conclusion. Now, let me explain this. You step into an organization, you step into the family business, and you start working hard, you start taking over, you start taking the work, and you're executing really well. And then you see an opportunity to make a recommendation. You see an opportunity to kind of challenge the situation, and what happens? You get shut down. Sometimes it's quite aggressively. Sometimes you get your head chopped off. Sometimes you get told to stay in your lane. Sometimes you get dirty looks, and sometimes you get like you just don't know what you're talking about, or whatever. Or sometimes it's just something a little bit more subtle. Sometimes it might just be slight ignoring of what just happened, or just moving on, or it might have been just something subtle that happened in that moment. But either way, you just learned something. You just learned something that what I've got to say isn't worth it. I'm only useful to do the work. It's not safe for me to make suggestions. That's your conclusion of the situation. And here's the thing. It's that conclusion that you've made that is actually holding you back. Because after that conclusion, you're like, well, I may as well just do the work. I may as well not put myself out there. It's not safe out there. I'm going to stay in the safe zone. And here's the challenge. You are staying small by a conclusion. And usually that conclusion is not accurate. Because let me tell you this. Why were you shut down? Well, you know what? It may not have been the fact that your idea or suggestion was wrong. It might have just been your approach. And I know, look, I've been there. I've been in a family business and tried to make suggestions as a successor, and I know I made the mistakes of approaching it in a little bit of a arrogant way that I know better than you. And I've seen enough other successes in family businesses to know it's usually the way we approach it that actually got shut down. Now, there are other reasons why it got shut down. It may not just be the fact that it was a bad approach. It might also be the predecessor, your father, the parent, the founder, didn't have time to actually. He's got 1,000 other things. He's just trying to survive, and you're coming in bringing all this extra stuff. I just don't want to think about it. The other reason is possibly because you haven't built the trust. They will always see you as the little kid. Always. Over the last 20, 25 years, I've built successful businesses myself. Even now, when I'm talking to my parents about business, they still see me as that little kid. They don't see the value because sometimes they just see you that way. And so it's really important that we understand why that actually happens. That shutdown, we need to draw a better conclusion from it. Not just, well, I'll just stay in my lane because my only use is what I do here. Look, and once you draw a different conclusion from this, then you're able, because understand, it's not your fault. You're not wrong, but there's still more to be done. That's all. But we can't blame this all on the predecessor, on your father. We can't blame it all on them. It's not them. We need to take responsibility for our own actions and how we approach it, but understand it's not emotional. You need to take the emotions out of it, and that's one of the hardest things in these situations because you're feeling crushed, you're feeling hurt, you're feeling like, well, I'm just not worth anything and I just need to keep doing the work. No, that's the wrong answer. But understand it's not emotional, it's structural. When we're able to remove the emotions from it, we're able to look at things practically and logically and be able to create some sort of a structure, steps forward once we take the emotions out of it and see it for what it actually is. So just remember, this is not an emotional problem. This is a structural one. And once you start seeing it that way, you stop fighting against the person and start seeking a solution, a structural solution. Because you didn't stay small because you gave up. You stay small because that's what the structure dictated. But when you're able to step outside and understand there is a structural change that can be implemented, that you can actually do yourself because you are responsible for your own conclusions, you're responsible for your action, you're responsible for how you can move forward, if you're able to see it from a different perspective. And that's how you'll be able to evolve from stuck in executional stage to evolving completely as a leader.